Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Welcome back once again with the Renegade Master. I'm your Dreadlock caster, right here, RedRipz. Now, today's CasualCraft, episode number 40. I wanted to make quite a special one, because, well, I've done 40 episodes now, so I figured why on earth not? You know, good times. And so I thought, well, I'll try and get something interesting. So I've been going through trying to find an interesting replay and ended up on this free-for-all, which is fine. I was asking my friends to send me some replays, but they just didn't have anything that I really fancied. So here we are, free for all on Korhal. Now, in this game, we have today's brother from another mother, the Red Protoss player. Here on the far left-hand side of the map, he is many. Yeah, gonna be some many skills from many today. And up at the top, the 12 o'clock position, we have today's sister from another mister, RedDragon, the purple Terran player. I've just had a slight feeling that this guy, BoneCarlos, might be one of the other casters on Caster. I'm going to check that out afterwards, but big shout out to you anyway, dude. How do? This is completely by accident. I've picked up one of your games. Hello. Hopefully this is a good one. So that's two of the players introduced. So they're all sort of silver through to platinum level with an unranked as well, just out of interest before I go too far into this. Now, over on the far right-hand side here, today's cousin from the product of good loving. Yeah, there we are. We have on the far right-hand side of the map the blue Zerg player who's going straight into 2 extractors on 14 supply. Mirrowin. Yeah. Woo! And BoneCarlos, the Arcastic caster. I think that's who it actually might be, you know, because that's where I'm sure I recognise that name. Not 100%, but he actually looks like he's got a build, so he looks like someone who actually knows what he's doing. And yeah, so at the bottom of the map we have BoneCarlos here as well, looking good down in the off blue. As opposed to turquoise as opposed to dark blue. So this is all very nice and well. We've got the Protoss player on the left hand side. We've got a Protoss Terran and 2 Zergs as well. So the Protoss on the left hand side over here has gone Nexus first because he's a brave. No, sorry, he's not got Nexus first. He has a Forge down, Forge fast expand. Very nice. Now this map has not been on ladder for a while. I think it's probably because of this second base really, which is just fucking stupid. Because you can defend it on this one ramp, which is lovely for players who like to expand and basically completely discourages rush tactics, I feel, because you can just block this ramp and be like, what are you going to do? Although at the same time, if you can get up the ramp, of course, it doesn't actually matter that much, because if your opponent's gone Nexus first or something, then, well, you'd be up shit creek because you wouldn't have any units out for a lot later. This guy seems to have sold some aquarium plants. That's good. RedDragon here at the top, our Terran player, wheeler dealer in his way through the game. Many, on the other hand, our Protoss player is too high for this, so he's either on a plane or smoking, or something like that. Now, all very good. So with that, we've got 2 racks down at the front here for our Terran player. He's going to be continuing to build stuff behind that. He's getting a second refinery down already, so I imagine we see some sort of gas-heavy play out of him. Meanwhile, our Zerg player down the bottom here has he's gone 2 gas, so he's got 500 gas sitting up now, rushing through to the layer tech, not going to be bothering with an expansion and going straight to Spore Crawler after spawning pool. I don't know what to say about this guy's build. It's quite beautiful. I guess he's rushing muters or something. Is that why he's getting so much gas down so quickly or something? I'm not entirely sure. Meanwhile, our other Zerg player also neglecting to expand. Who wants an expansion in today's free-for-all meta game, really, let's be honest. Now, so that we're going to be getting the roaches behind that there for BoneCarlos. He looks like he's basically going to be rushing out the roaches, which he has done. As you can see now, the nice big group of 8 roaches or so are all going to be charging up here to this other Zerg base. And this is basically just going to go really bad for Mirrowin, because he doesn't have anything. Like, literally nothing to defend. And there's, this should be the 8 roach rush, I think? Is that an 8th? Oh, there's a few more coming up at the back as well. So, upwards of 8 roaches coming into his base. Mirrowin's basically out of this, really. I don't see what he's going to do now. There's a lot of roaches killing off all his drones. Carlos is correctly targeting down the drones rather than worrying about the tech too early. Although, actually, no, you need to be continuing to chase that lot, because I'm not sure why we're targeting that. Oh, well, it's all good. It's all good. We'll go with it. It's very nice. The drones are going to make their getaway for Mirrowin, and basically, if Carlos can kill off everything here, this is actually just GG straight away for Mirrowin. I'm not really sure quite what he's intending to do with all this gas. It must have been neuters or something, because that's crazy. Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing our RedDragon, the Terran player at the top of the map here, moving out with his massive amount of Reapers. Now, this is what I like about free-for-all games. You see weird as fuck tactics, because basically it's not really, well, I never really seem to see it played by that high-level players. You just see all these weird, like, kind of, like, just bizarre kind of, like, not newbie tactics, but just like, oh, I'll just mass Reaper, which is just something you just don't see a lot in outside of these sort of games. So so he's going to be jumping all those Reapers into base. We're going to put a lot of pressure here on Many, who's on a 2-base economy now. He's getting out his Observer as well there. Doesn't have a lot to deal with this beyond a couple of Zealots there, but it's all very exciting. Meanwhile, on the far side of the map, we've seen the main base of Mirrowin fall now. He's got 2 Extractors left, but has also managed to get an expansion up at the very top of the map here under this big pile of rocks, which is all very nice for him. Meanwhile, of course, the Reapers here of RedDragon are going to continue their harassment in this base. They're not actually, I don't think, going to be able to... Well, I don't know. They're not going to survive, I'll say that much. Or at least I wouldn't imagine they would, as long as we keep targeting them down properly. But with this amount of damage down for RedDragon already on Mirrowin, that's really good. And with this continuing at the second base as well, this is just atrocious here for Many. He really needs some ground troops out to start dealing with this, because this isn't very nice for him at all. Meanwhile, we're seeing BoneCarlos expand at the bottom behind this. He's all very sensible build, to be honest. Pretty much it's a very standard kind of Zergy thing, really. He's got the... I mean, he's a little bit slow on the expansion, obviously, but that's because he did the Roach Rush there with more Roaches than you'd normally do the sort of 8 Roach Rush with, because he's got, like, 10. Which means his expansion is quite late, but it's all right. It's not too bad. He's taken out a player for the bother of it, and he's actually in a really good position. He's got a really full economy here, and he'll be transferring a bunch of these drones over to his second before too long. Meanwhile, of course, Mirrowin's actually remaining in the game pretty effectively here at the top. He's got his base up again, and he's mining again. Meanwhile, we're seeing more and more Reapers coming out of RedDragon here. They're going to be causing continual troubles for Many, who's well, he's not going to be that high for too long. I think this might be quite a sobering attack right here for RedDragon, let's face it, as he marches up into the base. Now, well, let's see what happens when you put 8 Reapers inside a mineral line. This is what happens when you put 8 Reapers inside a mineral line. With a cannon, obviously. I mean, we're seeing 2 more... Oh, God, they're only pylons, so I thought there were cannons finishing up. Yeah, this is looking really, really irritating here for Many. Although, actually, now that he's got some troops down, he's going to be able to fend this off, and that's going to be the end of that little Reaper pressure there out of RedDragon. Now, I'd hope to see an expansion behind this out of him, although apparently 6 racks is a much more efficient build from his point of view, which is fine. Not going to complain about that. I can't really see how you're going to keep all those going once you start building the tech labs and stuff on them with this 600 gas that you've bothered mining. But... well, just keep building them, it's all good. Now, we're going to get the Observer having a little wander around at the top here. He's found Mirrowin's extra base there. Just have a little look, we're not going to see... Yeah, basically Many hasn't scouted that much at all. Meanwhile, of course, BoneCarlos is going to be continuing to macroing up. He's going to be getting his 3rd down here, which is very nice. And just generally, actually, BoneCarlos is looking in a really strong position at the moment. Essentially, RedDragon's biggest problem at the moment is lack of bases. He needs another base down, really. He needs to continue making SCVs and just generally getting his economy up and running a bit better, because he's going to find that he's going way too much gas, way too much gas. He doesn't have anything that requires gas at the moment, and just not enough minerals. That's what he's going to run out of eventually when... well, actually, he's not, actually, because he doesn't have any tech labs or reactors at all. I'm not... Well, that's fine. Go for it, mate. It's all good. Meanwhile, we haven't actually seen these 2 Extractors killed off from Mirrowin, which is a bit of a shame, really. I'd quite like to see people just clear up that sort of thing, because leaving this sort of thing just allows your opponents to stay in the game longer than they should. We're seeing a huge move out here out of RedDragon as well. This is very good for him. He's going to be hopefully punish the... what was left of Many after that initial assault, although to be honest, Many has managed to recover. He's got 2 fully mining bases up and running again, and he's generally looking really good. Now, we're seeing a double Spire out of BoneCarlos here, if we just have a look back in the main. Basically, it looks like he's going to be going mass mutant. He's going to be rushing out the upgrades as quick as he can, and that's all going to be very nice. Now, we're going to see RedDragon pressure at the back here. This should pull the army, or what was left of the army, of Many away. Yeah, the army's going to be pulling down there, and now we're going to see the Marines coming up the front ramp for RedDragon, and he should be able to push this without too much bother, as long as he just focuses down the units that are doing damage to him, doesn't stand and shoot the warp gate or anything crazy like that, and just continues to get these troops in. This shouldn't be too much bother for him, as essentially the army of Many is completely engaged with this other base here. Now, meanwhile, BoneCarlos is getting a 4th base down. It looks like someone actually knows how to play the game, and is just continuing up his macro tech. That's all really good. We're not seeing too much more out of anyone else, really. It's mostly just the defense here from Many, which he was very lucky to get that Colossus out just in time there. That was really nice of him. Obviously, Chrono boosting those out is the best thing he can be doing right now to deal with this mass Marine sort of play out of RedDragon here, and RedDragon's going to have to retreat and try and tech up, or just do something something that isn't continued Marines. He does have a second base down now, which is good. Obviously, he's going to need to do a little bit more in the way of building SCVs, as he doesn't really have enough at the moment. He could also do a drop in some mules, really. He's got quite a lot of energy on this base, but it's all good. It's all good. He's still going now. Meanwhile, Mirrowin is back up to the back up to the layer on one base again. He's building lots and lots of spore crawlers. I think he's terrified of air assaults, although he's still yet to build any actual ground units. He's just continuing to macro up on this base, getting plenty of drones out, which is good. You just kind of need another base once you get to this sort of level to, well, up to whatever you want to do, really. Now, we're seeing an infestation pit out of BoneCarlos here now, and also the first 8 mutalisks coming out, which is good news. He's on 4 bases now, so this is actually really, really strong for him. Although with just this many roaches down the front, it's going to be a little bit of a problem there if many decided to assault, but it's actually going to look all right. Many's going to be pulling back, taking this extra base down the bottom here, and generally looking to macro up, I feel. Meanwhile, we're seeing the first Widow Mines coming out of RedDragon right now. He's looking okay. Still not quite got round to building any reactors or anything on his barracks yet, which is a bit of a shame considering he's got this much gas built up. Although it does look like he's finally cleared out his this much minerals. Sorry. Although it looks like he's finally cleared out his gas issues. And I'm trying to see. Oh, sorry, he spent that all on Reapers. So he's going Mass Reaper again. This isn't going to work against the army of many, I'll be honest, as because, well, there's 2 Colossi there with enough meat on the floor to soak up anything the Reapers can do, so really this is not a good position for RedDragon to be in if that's the only player that he's going to be fighting against today. Meanwhile, he is going to find this extra base here of Mirrowin, to much to his dismay, and he's actually probably going to want to take that out, really, because, well, there's nothing here. There's still no defence at all. I mean, we've got a few spine crawlers down. We're now finally going to see a spire coming up at the back here for Mirrowin, who's after rushing out the layer tech, has decided to delay the spire as long as he possibly can to make sure that he's got the full 1200 gas saved up that you need to build something once you've got that out the other side. I'm not sure. Absolute craziness out of this game. I love it. Now we're seeing more and more mutalisks coming out here for BoneCarlos here. He's going to be able to wander around. He's going to be clearing out these extra bases and stuff. Well, it looks like that's what his plan is. He's taken down these rocks and now he's going to be clearing those out as well. Hopefully we'll see some muta harass out of him before too long. That'd be quite nice. Although it's obviously it's not necessarily the main thing on his mind if he's busy building up these extra bases, making sure his economy's good. I'd like to see something in the form of that. Now it does look like Many is going to be moving in for the kill here on RedDragon, and that's going to be not very good for him. Although meanwhile it does look like RedDragon's actually going to take out this extra Nexus. And oh my goodness, that was so close. The Nexus fell just after the army of Many was mass recalled back into the base, and that was actually really nice there by RedDragon in the sense that he took it out. Although, if to be honest, if he'd taken it out just slightly earlier, sorry, then he would have stopped the mass recall. But actually, as it stands, the fact of the matter is, Many's going to run straight back across the map to his base again. So all he's done is actually buy himself some more time, which is actually really, really good considering the position that he's in. Meanwhile, Mirrowin's going to build some lings. They're going to sort of help a bit, maybe, against this huge Protoss army of Many that's turning up here now. And this is all looking a bit crazy now. Meanwhile, the mutas are actually just going to turn straight up into the base here of Mirrowin, and this is, well, I mean, unless he decides to park them right over the top of the spore crawlers, this is going to be a very, very big issue here for Mirrowin, as obviously BoneCarlos is not very happy about having another Zerg player in the game. Meanwhile, we've got Many moving up the front ramp here of RedDragon. RedDragon stuff's just going to fall left, right and centre. His main's been pulled back. He's going to fly his stuff over this way for some reason. I think he's just generally doing that Terran thing of, oh shit, they're in my base, I'll just fly everything off, and gives me more time to think. RedDragon, meanwhile, has moved down. He's taken out the extra pylons and stuff down the bottom here with his extra Reapers there, and he's just generally doing some damage. We're going to see the remnants of the Muta Ball of BoneCarlos returning there after I don't think he quite realised quite how many Spore Crawlers were down here. This is actually insane, the number of Spore Crawlers that Mirrowin has out here. Very, very well defended against mutas aren't the things you want to be using. Meanwhile, Mirrowin's still begging for a truce here out of RedDragon, but he's just not going to be finding it, as RedDragon is a little bit under his under the weather right now, if to say the least, really, as Many here is just absolutely filling up the base of or what was the base of RedDragon with Stalkers and Colossi. So both those players are looking pretty dead at the moment. I mean, Mirrowin's in a slightly better position in that he does actually have a base, whereas RedDragon hasn't been quite so lucky. He does still have some air units out though, so he can just remain in the game and re-land whenever Many decides to move out. Although I would, to be honest, quite like to see. Oh, we're going to see the engagement here now as the 6 mutas of Mirrowin decide to come over and try and have a go at Many's army, but they're not actually going to be able to engage. But I only messed with Red pretty good, only on one base, says RedDragon. So yeah, everyone's having a big sort of group discussion. People are starting to form impromptu alliances now, and RedDragon looking pretty strong, actually, considering the amount of resources he's got and the fact that he does still have a base worth of stuff that he could put down. But he's not going to find a place to land that anytime soon by the looks of things now, as many is going to be moving in here on the base of Mirrowin now. We're going to see everything die here for Mirrowin, and I can't really see how Mirrowin can hope to stay in the game now, as this huge army of many is going to be so efficient at clearing this up. Meanwhile, we've seen the Lings of BoneCarlos move in on the main base of Many. Many's not in a good position now, although actually these Lings are going to get completely taken out by the 2 Colossi that were standing there waiting for them. However, there are quite a lot of mutas here, so we're going to see all the Colossi falling. And then, unless this mass recall that Many's managed to pull off here can do much more, that's going to be a big issue for these Colossi, as the mutas do take down 3 in a row there, one after another, and Many's left in not so much of a good position anymore, although we did actually manage to inadvertently save Mirrowin there, despite the huge sort of pullback business going on there out of Mirrowin. Now, meanwhile, we're going to see the BoneCarlos move his mass muta ball up to the top of the map here. He's going to come and have another little look around RedDragon's base. I think RedDragon might just get caught out this time, as the mutas will be able to chase down this orbital command if it does move away. And this could well be the end of the game here for RedDragon now. Meanwhile, of course, it does look like Many's actually going to be moving down the map now to try and engage with the main army of BoneCarlos, and this isn't very good. And it actually looks like Mirrowin will once again be allowed to survive at the top with RedDragon again, as the mutas are forced to pull back now. If we just look on the mini-map there, they're all coming back, and we're actually getting quite a big engagement on Muta versus Stalker here, which isn't really what I like to see, because, well, to be honest, you need, like, you don't want to be doing that with your air units, really, but, like, it just looks like he's got enough mutas with enough upgrades to take out these 1-1 units of Many, and actually with these 2-2 mutas, he's just going to storm through this whole army of Many, and that's basically the end of it for Many. He's GGing out the game. He's had enough now. So as it continues, it looks like BoneCarlos might be in a really good position to win this now, as he's got so many mutas up, and with very little left for Mirrowin, and RedDragon, who are both down to single bases with barely anything in them. It's really looking like it's BoneCarlos' game to take here now. So we'll just have to wait and see how much longer this is going to go on for. Mirrowin and RedDragon still trying to come to some sort of truce, but obviously RedDragon hasn't been completely open for that idea. Both of them think they're dead, and to be honest, I think they're pretty much right here, as this marauding muta ball of BoneCarlos is going to now move in on the main base of Many, which is actually dead. So this is kind of pointless, but I guess it gives him a chance to sort of macro up. Meanwhile, RedDragon has now left the game, so it's absolutely all up to Mirrowin, who was what I thought was going to be the first person to fall. Turns out he's going to stay in the game till right to the very end. So let's see if he can pull together anything to try and deal with this, 27 mutas that we've got here for BoneCarlos now, absolutely running over this base. And well, basically, I want to say congratulations to BoneCarlos for absolutely dominating this game. He started off with a really nice little rush at the start with the roaches. He's continued to macro up, get the 4-5 bases up as quickly as he can now, and yeah, he's just generally doing really good stuff all the way through the game. He's been on top of his thing, and that's good to see, to be honest. And now, as I say, I'm pretty sure that's one of the other casters have cast it, but I can't quite remember the names to be sure. Although it is pretty funny that I've managed to accidentally just stumble across one of his games, if that's what's happened here. So we're going to see the Lings of BoneCarlos finally move in now on Mirrowin's base, and I think this could be the end of Mirrowin's final base. He's got 4 spine crawlers down, but with the Lings absolutely running over the first 2 of those, and they're going to destroy the second 2 here. I don't think there's much here that Mirrowin can hope to do. He's buried all his drones and hope that they don't get caught out, but really now that there's absolutely nothing much else left here, this is going to be the end of the game, I think, for Mirrowin, and BoneCarlos is going to take it. So yeah, it's been a pretty crazy CasualCraft, really. I mean, I was expecting something pretty mad, but perhaps not quite so much of a survival out of Mirrowin, and such an absolute death out of our Protoss player, as he managed to just... Well, I thought he was going to go through those Mutalisks, because he managed to catch half the Mutalisks, and then the other half turned up later, but it just turns out there was just way too many Mutalisks for that to happen. And well, as you can see here now, we're left with these little balls of mutas hanging around. I'm not sure why we haven't moved this pack in yet, although actually Mirrowin is insisting on continuing the game by building yet another base up the top of the map. We're going to have to wait and see for this to be finished off now. I'm not actually sure what Carlos is doing. He's building more Zerglings, it seems, at the moment. He's just generally going to be rallying those around. We've got a huge muta ball still in the middle of the map here, and essentially we're just waiting for him to finish the game at this point. Oh, actually, those are Mirrowin's mutas. I didn't even realise that. And now as the pack of BoneCarlos will be moving up the map, we're going to be seeing this pretty much come to an end here now, I'd imagine. We're going to see yet another spawning pool down at Mirrowin. This guy just doesn't give up. It's great. And he's actually on the most bases he's ever been on at any point in the game now. So I'd say that now he's actually stronger than he's been at any other time. Which, well, is a little bizarre, I'll be honest. So we're going to see BoneCarlos moving out yet again here, searching the edges of the map to see if he can find anything out in the air there. Doesn't need to worry too much. A Zerg player is the only thing left in the game now, and with all these Zerglings coming in here as well, I think this is going to be the end of this this base again, as we're going to see all the drones die this time, as the Mutants probably shouldn't be able to take down this many Zerglings before they can kill everything. And actually with the drones burrowing there as well, we're going to see the layer fall much quicker than it might have done, as the Lings will actually naturally rally onto that sort of thing instead. I don't think we're going to let the spawning pool finish here, are we? Oh no, it's going to die instead, so never mind. And actually I think we're going to see most of these cleared up. Now why haven't you moved these in? Come on dude, just move your mutants in. Finish this, please. It's so nearly over. It's so nearly over. And especially with 13,000 resources, man, what's going on? I think we're just scouting the map out, making sure there's nothing out there that shouldn't be, really seems to be the idea here. Well, actually, Mirrowin at the moment is doing the most damage to his opponents because he's actually attacking RedDragon. Meanwhile, BoneCarlos should now have found this top base. There he is. Yep, he's found the top base, and this should now finally be the end of Mirrowin, who just doesn't really know when to give up, really. He's just continually convinced that he's invincible, it seems. And there he goes. No GG thrown out. Just a quick exit out the game for both players. And yeah, well, that's absolutely the end of that now. So well, thanks very much, guys, for watching once again. This has been another episode of CasualCraft. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual banter. And yeah, I hope you have a good day. I've been RedRipz, your dreadlock caster, who I brew in central Newcastle. And it's been another episode of CasualCraft. So thanks once again, and GG to both players.